Spoken Case Studies by Mr. Eden. On paper 2, in the UK's Evolving Human Landscape section, you will need to know a case study of changes in one major UK city. Your case study is Birmingham, and this is part 2. Patterns of inequality. Deprivation is not just confined to inner city areas of Birmingham. It is the result of the decline in manufacturing, combined with older housing, which has led to a lack of investment and has created a spiral of decline. Economic and population change has been rapid. There has been the impact of globalization and deindustrialization. People with few qualifications find it hard to get jobs. Older housing can create health issues. There is a minority of discrimination and racism. A large number of immigrants arriving in a short time has put pressure on services, and a lack of money from government has meant that there has been a lack of investment in areas of Birmingham. Deindustrialization and decentralization. Slum clearances. In the 19th century, terraced housing was unfit for living, with nearby polluting factories. In the 1950s and 1960s, these areas were flattened, and so people migrated to the edge of the city and never returned, causing inner city areas to decline. Transport. The inner ring road was built in the 1970s. Industrial areas were demolished to make room, and factories were never reopened. Job losses. Deindustrialization has caused 50,000 jobs to be lost in the 1960s. Economic decline. The UK as a whole has experienced a decline in manufacturing. Decentralization. Shops were built in the suburbs and the rural-urban fringe. For example, Merry Hill in Dudley. This attracted shoppers away from the CBD. Opportunities. Eastern Birmingham is made up of agricultural urban land use. For example, the Birmingham International Airport and the National Exhibition Centre, the NEC. Rapid economic growth, traditional metal manufacturing, Ford and BMW, the city's reputation for producing high-quality jewellery, improved rail connections, and the growing importance of finance and business services, as well as a skilled labour force. Gentrification. Older parts of the city have become culturally desirable, for example Moseley, due to its leafy streets and Victorian houses, and the fact it is close to the city centre. Furthermore, the University of Birmingham and Queen Elizabeth Hospital are nearby. Studentification. Gradual change in an area due to the arrival of more students and the subsequent conversion of older housing into student accommodation. This has taken place in Selly Oak, an area of Birmingham. Regeneration. Longbridge, an area of Birmingham, was a former car factory, which has been regenerated to include new shops and housing. Improving city life. The challenge for Birmingham is now to become more sustainable and limit its ecological footprint. In terms of recycling, its recycling rate for the UK, or the recycling rate for the UK, is 43.5%, while Birmingham is only 30.1%. Green transport. A network of bus routes to reduce car journeys, air and noise pollution have been introduced, as well as increased bicycle lanes and electric car charging points. Green spaces. Birmingham has more green spaces and parks than any other European city, as well as several nature reserves. Eco-housing. High standard housing has been built recently in terms of its design, space and energy efficiency. The city and its rural areas. Birmingham and its surrounding rural areas are linked together. They are interdependent. Many people live in nearby villages such as Belbrownton and Tanworth in Arden, which are very easily accessible to Birmingham. The surrounding rural areas being interdependent has had both positives and negatives for those surrounding rural areas. The economic benefits are people can live in the surrounding rural areas but go to Birmingham, commute to work and get higher wages. They can access urban centralised services such as hospitals, but also access or have access to pleasant rural landscapes for recreation. However, there are costs. There has been urban decentralisation. Some rural locations are becoming too expensive for local young people to buy homes. And there has been the development of housing on greenfield sites, which makes the rural areas more urban.